Welcome to my series, Vintage Glam. I'm your host, Yvonne. This series will be covering interesting stories in fashion history. In today's episode, I'll be covering Frederick Mellinger, the founder and creator of the famed Fredericks of Hollywood. Frederick was a revolutionary in the lingerie industry, and he created a very iconic brand along the way. In 1913, Frederick was born the son of a Hungarian-American tailor in the Lower East Side of New York City. At the age of 14, Frederick lied about his age to get a clerical job at an intimate apparel firm. This was his start in the lingerie field, where he learned the art of mail-order marketing. Frederick served in the armed forces during World War II. This is where he conceived of the idea for his lingerie business. Frederick posted a picture of Betty Grable displaying her famous legs in his barracks. She was one of the most famous pinups at the time, and her picture sparked conversations about what kind of lingerie they might want to see their girlfriends in. I think this is a great example of Frederick's focus on market research. During this time, the American women were wearing white, simple undergarments. The European women were wearing more racy, seductive, and sophisticated designs. After the war, Frederick established his own lingerie business in New York City called Fredericks on Fifth Avenue. Frederick was working out of a small room in New York City's fashion district, off of 7th Avenue. Frederick's designs caught the attention of Broadway showgirls and dancers who were tired of the white undergarments available at Macy's and Gimbel's. The showgirl support wasn't enough to sustain his business, and Frederick nearly went broke. In 1947, Frederick packed up and moved his business to California. He worked out of a small shop in Chinatown, but he mailed his catalogs from a P.O. box in Hollywood, and that's how the official Fredericks of Hollywood was born. Moving to California and using Hollywood in the company's name turned out to be a savvy business move. The war was over, the Depression was winding down, and the economy was growing. More than 7,500 films were made during this era. Television hadn't gained popularity yet. Frederick was in the heart of it all. He focused on mailing his catalogs out to women in the Midwest. Millions of people worked all week, then would go to the movies on Saturdays. Frederick capitalized on women's fascination with the Hollywood dream. He filled his catalog with Hollywood motifs such as stars, film reels, and spotlights. All this suggested that you too could be part of the glamour, just by wearing one of his pieces. In 1948, Frederick pioneered his first invention, the padded bra. It was designed to add volume and shaping, and he dubbed it the Cadillac. One of the marketing taglines was, "You came in looking like a Chevy, but left looking like a Cadillac." Soon after, Frederick also invented the push-up bra. He called it the Rising Star. As a credit to his design and marketing genius, women are still wearing these styles today. Some of these designs were short-lived. He developed a blow-up bra that came with a free straw, and a bra you could fill with water. As you can see, Frederick was an inventor as well as a master marketer. He would include pictures of himself in every catalog, dispensing sage advice to women about their figures. He encouraged them to buy something from the catalog, thereby fulfilling their deepest desires. Frederick's plan was to establish himself as Hollywood's top figure specialist. This marketing tactic contained two major components. He would identify a problem with a client's figure, and then he would sell them the solution. His motto was that there was no perfect woman, but that every woman could have a perfectly balanced figure. Frederick developed a wide array of products that worked to redistribute a lady's figure. These items included 5-inch heels, wigs with padded domes underneath to give the illusion of additional height, fanny padders, waist cinchers, switchable bra straps, and leg pads for skinny legs. Frederick was on a roll. In 1952, Frederick opened his first shop at 6608 Hollywood Boulevard. The location was a former Crest department store. The building was Art Deco style, painted purple, with hot pink awnings. This location eventually became a Hollywood landmark. In order to communicate with his wholesalers abroad, Frederick learned French, Spanish, and Italian. He imported the first bikini invented by Louis Réard. It was made out of 4 small triangles and exposed the belly button. The bikini was scandalous for its time. A woman was arrested on Venice Beach wearing one of the bikinis. The story was splashed in every newspaper all over town, giving Fredericks a ton of publicity. Fredericks sold out his stock within days. Fredericks of Hollywood continued thriving throughout the 1960s. He sold an array of fashions along with his bras, girdles, wigs, shoes, negligees, and underwear. During this time, the company incorporated and began offering items that could be paid for with revolving credit. In 1972, Frederick took the company public on the stock exchange. His family continued to own most of the shares. Fredericks expanded to 65 stores across the nation, but there were cultural shifts taking place. The 1970s had ushered in a new fashion moment for women. The women's liberation movement had started, and it urged women to free themselves from the constraints of bras and girdles. As women entered the workforce, they needed fashion for function instead of special occasions. The sexual revolution had also begun, as the pill had become normalized. Frederick capitalized on this new sexual revolution. He introduced a whole host of adult-themed products, as well as loungewear for men. As a result, the catalogs became raunchy, leaving behind the glamour of Hollywood. Frederick continued moving his business in this direction, oblivious to the fact that America's taste in lingerie had become increasingly conservative. This also coincided with the rise of Victoria's Secret. Victoria's Secret catalogs presented the lingerie in a clear, elegant, and modern way. This was in stark contrast to what Frederick's catalogs had become. In 1984, Frederick retired and the company suffered its first loss. Frederick passed away in 1990. After his passing, Frederick's company continued its descent, suffering a series of missteps and buyouts. Despite all of this, Fredericks of Hollywood survives online to this day.